But he was not messaging people the day before saying, I'm going to be murdered. They're coming after me. Someone's going to kill me. He didn't say that. And I have his cell phone. Didn't say that. And so what I do know is that we believe in the power of prayer. And what I do know is that we believe in our sovereign God. And what I do know is that that night before, we did what we usually did before tours. We said our prayer. And we asked the Lord to protect us. And we asked the Lord that his will be done. That's what we did.
Erika Kirk is lying, and I can prove it. I've already given you too many episodes this week, so I'm going to keep this very, very short. But this is my day off, as you can tell by the beanie. I was just relaxing. But this is a fact. I can prove almost definitively. I mean, it's basically definitive. We've got 3 different sources, probably 4, arguably 4, that are all saying the opposite of what Erika Kirk is saying. So let's prove out why I think it's a definitive lie.
1,000% that Andrew Kolvet told me the night before Charlie was murdered that Charlie Kirk texted him and said, they are going to kill me. Andrew Kolvet is the person who received a text message from Charlie Kirk saying they're going to kill me. And I'm not getting that third party. I got that directly from Andrew Kolvet. He asked me to keep it off record, and I would have kept it off record if Erika did not imply that I lied, right?
So that's Candace Owens on with Jimmy Dore today. You may be thinking to yourself, okay, well, that's not enough, Clint. That's not enough. I mean, this is basically hearsay. You have to trust Candace Owens, who's being told that by Andrew Kolvet, according to her, 48 hours after Charlie's death. And you don't know, maybe Kolvet's lying or maybe Candace is lying, even though I'm very confident she's not, particularly about this topic. So this is where it gets pretty provable. Frank Turek, who is allegedly the mentor to Charlie Kirk before he passed, had this to say.
He wrote me this: please pray for me. I'm under the gun on something right now. Prayers appreciated. I texted him and I said, I hope you've increased your security detail. He texted me back. He said, quote, I have. I know they want me dead. And I don't know who he meant by they.
Charlie Kirk texted him saying, I know they want me dead. He also said, I'm under the gun right now. Please pray for me. So pretty explicit. I mean, this is not like real nebulous claims here. He's saying like, it's nebulous in the sense that he's saying they, so we don't know who they is, but it doesn't come across as like a metaphorical threat. It's not like he's like under the metaphorical gun, but it sounds like he's actually under the gun. And he knows that they want him dead, and that's how you know that it's not just metaphorical. So in order to believe Erika Kirk, that she has his cell phone, she's looked through it, and that those text messages never happened, you have to believe that Candace Owens, Frank Turek, probably Andrew Kolvet, and also the additional contact that Candace Owens has within TPUSA is all lying. All of them are lying, and Erika Kirk is telling the truth. I'm going to go with the odds on this one and say Erika Kirk is clearly lying. And here's another really important thing that we need to consider. Erika comes out yesterday and she says that she has the cell phone.
But he was not messaging people the day before saying, I'm going to be murdered. They're coming after me. Someone's going to kill me. He didn't say that. And I have his cell phone.
And my immediate thought, along with Ian Carroll, was why? Why would the widow, why would his spouse possess what we believe is very key evidence in this case? I mean, unless you're just basically assuming that it's Tyler Robinson, and obviously Charlie Kirk had no communications with Tyler Robinson, so I guess the cell phone isn't tremendously relevant. But if you are actually approaching this investigation with an open mind, well then, yeah, the cell phone matters tremendously, because then you can actually get additional information as to, like, was Charlie facing any threats? Was there anybody else that he had bad blood with? Is there any other people with potential motives? Is there any other angles that you might want to look into? But apparently that's not necessary here. So I've got this post, a reply to Ian Carroll from this guy named Zeke Arkham. Never heard of him, probably a Zio shill, but I'm not familiar, so maybe he's for real. It says, hi, Ian, criminal investigator here. If someone is murdered by an outside source, their body is brought to a medical examiner where an itemized list of their belongings is made. Each item on that list is scrutinized to see if it's needed in the investigation. If it's an item like a phone, a detailed reason is needed, as well as a warrant to search the phone. Charlie's phone isn't relevant to the investigation. He's the victim. Therefore, it was turned over to his next of kin, his wife. I'm going to pause there and just say, dude, you're a criminal investigator and you think that in a political assassination that the cell phone of the victim would not be relevant to the investigation, end quote. Really? Man, I hope you're never in charge of any important investigations. Continuing on. If anyone's cell phone is under investigation, it's the POS who murdered him. As an investigator, I'd be tearing that phone apart to see who this guy was talking with before and after. Hope this clears things up, Oogums. Oh, Zeke, you fucking suck at life. So yeah, let's just think about this rationally. If you have any doubt about whether or not Tyler Robinson did it, you're going to be very, very interested in the communications that Charlie, the victim, was having in the days, weeks, months, even years leading up to this attack. We're not talking about some regular murder here. We're talking about a politically motivated assassination. This takes on additional gravity that all of us can feel, but apparently Zeke, this professional investigator, doesn't feel himself. He just goes, I'd be tearing that phone apart for Tyler Robinson. It's like, dude, how about you actually look into the case and see if anybody else might have been involved? How about even if it is Tyler, as I've said many times, it could have been, but you still have to keep an open mind. You still have to be doing your due diligence. You still have to be actually running down every lead that's possible to make sure that you have the right guy. But this is the problem with our judicial system, and this is the problem with people like Zeke, is that they just go, we've got a suspect, now let's do everything to prove that he did it. That is not how you actually pursue these things, or it's not how you should be pursuing these things. And this was my entire complaint against Kash Patel and just the overarching investigation. And yes, I know it's not being ran by the FBI. It's being ran by the Utah, either cops or sheriff, but it's still being commented on and obviously overseen to a certain extent because Kash Patel has been commenting on it. He was on the ground in Utah. This is not like it's fully autonomous for the Utah police. So when someone like Kash Patel comes out and he says, at this time, we see no reason to believe that anyone aside from Tyler Robinson was involved, this shit matters. The fact that they would turn Charlie Kirk's cell phone over to his widow without running down all of these leads and making sure that they're all dead ends is a terrible injustice. And some people were replying to me and they're saying, well, what if Charlie had two cell phones and she's looking at the cell phone that's not his business phone or whatever? It's like, first off, I doubt he had two cell phones, but assuming he did, okay, well then she would still not be able to go on a PR tour and start to claim that, oh, I've got Charlie's cell phone and he didn't say that. So these people are, Candace Owens is a liar. It's like, well, you're lying through obfuscation, right? Or other people were saying to me, well, what if the investigators actually took the cell phone, they copied the data, or they took whatever data off of it and basically wiped it and then handed it back to her? Well, then that would still make her a liar because she's going on Glenn Beck and she's saying, I have his cell phone. These text messages did not happen. If she's sitting there with a blank phone, she can't honestly say that because she would have to honestly say, if she were being honest, that I have his cell phone, but it was wiped. So I have no idea what his communications consisted of. But that's not what she's saying. What she is saying is explicitly, I have his cell phone. These messages didn't happen, which is a lie. And again, I'm not accusing Erika of being involved. I have no idea if she was or was not. All I'm saying is when you watch her, there is a level of insincerity that jumps off the page. I don't know if it's just that she's totally in over her head, which seems likely, and she's just completely incapable of taking on this task. Like, they need a real smooth operator and preferably one who is actually capable of telling the truth. She has already demonstrated to me, and I think the rest of us, that that's not her. She can't do this job. She comes across super Beatrice-y. I mean, that's what that was.
The podcaster Candace Owens, okay? At one time, a friend of Charlie's, at one time, an employee of Turning Point. She has been one of the main peddlers of these conspiracies, and she is making a huge amount of money on it. She is building her business off of these lies. What do you want to say to her and the other people that are putting these lies out into the world right now?
Stop. That's it. That's all I have to say. Stop.
big smile and then this slow turn into a grimace as she's talking about Candace Owens, and then stop. It's like, no one's buying this. I'm sorry. Look, I'm sure you don't like Candace Owens at this junction. Why would you? But it just doesn't come across as like, it's just not sincere. It's not like, even if you're genuinely upset with Candace Owens, it's not a sincere way of talking about it. It comes across as if you are acting.
I've never seen anything, like Charlie Kirk's funeral. I prayed for that for 20 years, a revival. I prayed. I stood in that room and I felt the Spirit of God. I've never felt anything like it before. A miracle, a Moses-sized miracle. The same thing with darkness here. I've never seen anything like it. What's happening is players are being put on the field. You are sifting, right? You're being sifted. And where are you coming out? Are you going to be on God's side? Or are you going to be on evil? And I don't think people realize that.
And you got to love the audacity from Glenn Beck there. So are you going to come out on God's side, or are you going to come out on evil's side? Hi, Glenn Beck. Former huge fan of yours, by the way. Love the chalkboard era. Totally red-pilled me. Setting that aside, you were the guy who was hosting Erika Kirk as she lied to your face. So when you get upset with us for asking these questions, when you get upset with us for calling out lies and duplicity and obfuscation, why are we not on the side of God? Why is that not the side of godliness, those in pursuit of truth? Why are you giving softball interviews to someone who's lying to you and not even concerned with the fact that you're clearly being lied to, provably at this junction? But you're on the side of God? Interesting.
When people look at Erika and say she's acting strange, I've never seen a grieving person act this way. Well, I agree. She's an exceptional person in an extraordinary situation, handling it with remarkable poise and dignity. That is a virtue, and virtue is a strange thing in our day. And even if she were not an impressive person, she would still be a grieving widow. She would still be my friend's wife. And I would still feel duty-bound to support her, as I have over these past 3 months in ways both public and not. So what I am asking everybody, including Candace, is to please leave this woman alone. Let her grieve.
I just can't with any of this. Look, I like Matt Walsh, broadly speaking. I think he does decent work, but what are we talking about here? Look, I've been very, very reticent and I'd say broadly speaking supportive of Erika Kirk, especially through the first few months. But over the past week, since she really took on the role of the CEO of TPUSA and started to do the media circuit, what am I left with? Oh, because she's a widow, I can't question the CEO of TPUSA? Especially when I now know that the CEO of TPUSA is lying about something that's really, really deeply pertinent to the investigation, and I have a moral duty not to? Well, that's just an ask I can't abide. I cannot go along with that. I am still going to approach her with kindness and understanding, and I think I've done that even in catching her in a lie, saying that maybe it's just that she's over her head. Maybe it's just that she's trying to basically make things better because she wants to carry on Charlie Kirk's legacy, and she views TPUSA as that, and she views, even lying to defend his organization as doing right by her husband. Maybe it's that simple, but it doesn't justify a lie. It doesn't justify a blind eye on my part or yours. So while I will still keep her in my prayers, and her children in particular, that does not change the fact that we need honesty. And if Charlie Kirk was indeed your friend, which I believe he was, you should be equally concerned with any sort of deceptiveness when it comes to this case or this investigation. And unfortunately, the vast majority of his closest friends, and I would include you in that category, have not been. And I still don't understand why. This is not a white lie. This is not a minor oversight. This is a major, major mistake. And unless Frank Turek and Kolvet and Flood and Candace Owens and her insider at TPUSA are all lying, it seems like she's very definitively lying about having his cell phone and not being able to see any messages where he's fearful for his life. Or those text messages were deleted somehow, in which case she's lying because she's sitting with a phone that doesn't show anything and just pretending as if she's able to disprove Candace Owens' claims. It's a problem either way. And this is not, as I said earlier, this is not minor. It's major. It's about as big as it gets. In some ways, it's bigger even than the text messages that Candace Owens reported on in the few weeks after, or about a month after, where she showed that, in fact, Charlie Kirk said they're living up to all the stereotypes and he has no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. That was a major potential angle for a motive. But this is a potential angle for actual overt threats that he is facing and under actively leading up to this event. Most notably, the day prior to his actual assassination. It doesn't get much bigger than that. It's not a smoking gun, but it's the next closest thing. And if you think that that's not a big enough story that we need to demand the truth from the CEO of TPUSA, setting aside whoever it is, you've completely lost sight of the truth or justice when it comes to your friend. And that's a problem. I'm going to end it there. I've been watching tons of Ian Carroll. He's going live tonight too. Check his shit out. Guy's awesome. And Baron Coleman, I've been deep diving on his content, and he's like blowing my mind. He did this multi-hour stream a couple days ago where he's going through these flights that went into Colorado Springs and then to Huachuca or whatever, Arizona. And it ties into the Candace Owens claims about the insider who basically ran into a bunch of high-level lieutenant generals that had, I'm blanking on his name right now, but the lead security guy or one of the top security guys for Charlie Kirk, basically meeting with military. And basically, Baron Coleman wouldn't say it, but he was implying heavily that he thinks that J.D. Vance was actually on that plane to that meeting. And he thinks that J.D. Vance may have actually attended that meeting. He didn't say it. That's me reading between the lines, but it gets real heavy. I feel like I'm pretty basic compared to the angle that Baron Coleman was running down. But anyways, I invited Baron Coleman to come on the show. So if you'd like to see that, if you're mutual fans of both of us, please do just flood his chat going, go on Liberty Lockdown. Clint Russell's a good guy because maybe he doesn't know me. But I think that would be a hell of a collab. So hit the like button, subscribe, share it around. And most importantly, stay after this. Don't allow these people to shame you into silence. Yes, she's a widow. And yes, I have tremendous sympathy for her and her kids. But it's a lie is a lie. And a lie about not just an angle for a motive, but also for like active threats in the days and weeks, but really the day prior to his assassination is as big as it gets. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Do I have to fucking justify this? It's so obviously pertinent at the highest level. And we're just like, well, she's a widow, so who cares that she lied? It's like, dude, I'm not going to stop. Okay. Simple as that. All right. We're out of here. Oh, go to mypillow.com, promo code lockdown. Love you guys. Oh, and I got shirts. Hit the description. Check the description down below. If you want to pick up FAFO shirts, we did it. We got them. America first and fucking only. I'm not going to make like any profit off this, or I don't know if I'm making any profit. I just had a dude I know basically hook it up. So if you guys want them, now you got them. His wife's got a really cool website with a bunch of other stuff that she sells on there. So if you need any Christmas gifts or whatever, just use promo code lockdown so that they know that you came over to them from me. And but yeah, get you some Afafo gear. Let's see how Nick Fuentes feels about that one.
Last night, I was on my buddy Clint Russell's podcast, Liberty Lockdown. Clint Russell, by the way, criminally underrated. He's great. So it was me, him, and Ian Carroll. And we did.
Yeah, it was trending.